Hello and welcome to Kettlebells for Power Athletes. I'm Brett Jones, Senior Russian Kettlebell Instructor and Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. With me today is
Jeff O'Connor, Certified Russian Kettlebell Instructor and Strongman Competitor.
We're here today to introduce you to a variety of kettlebell and joint mobility techniques that we have found to be particularly effective with the power athlete. These drills are going to help increase your power output, increase your overall strength, but we're also going to show you how to keep your joints healthy and increase your mobility. All of things that are essential for a healthy, long-lasting career. First thing we're going to discuss are some safety considerations. This is not a beginning video. If you picked up this video expecting to learn beginning kettlebell technique, sorry to disappoint you. This is a more advanced video where we're going to cover techniques specific to the power athlete. For basic kettlebell technique, I would suggest you pick up Kettlebell Basics for strength coaches and personal trainers. Myself and Michael Castrogiovanni put together 2 hours of instructional footage that will get you dialed away with the basic kettlebell drills. We're going to show you today a variety of overhead and squatting activities, mobility drills. You're going to take your training to the next level. Primary safety consideration is that you never contest for space with a kettlebell. Now I'm going to have Jeff O'Connor come in and demonstrate guiding a kettlebell to the ground. As you can see, Jeff has a kettlebell up. Things start to get out of control, and he simply guides the kettlebell to the ground. Never contest for space with a kettlebell. The kettlebell will win. Another important consideration is quick feet are happy feet. As Jeff Martone has noted on his videos, you don't want the kettlebell landing on your foot. So get the feet out of the way. Make sure that nobody else is going to be injured by your falling kettlebell either. Another safety consideration is a safe, clean working environment. This kettlebell is now an issue. We would need to clear this away and make sure that the work area is returned to a nice, safe environment so there's nothing in your way to trip on. Some of these moves are very dynamic. You're going to want to make sure you have a very safe working area. Some of these safety considerations you should already know because, like I said, this is not a beginning video. So be sure you've reviewed your basic kettlebell technique. Make sure you're dialed away. Get ready to take your training to the next level. Now we're going to cover some joint mobility drills that we've found to be particularly effective with the power athlete. One of the issues the power athlete faces is that they participate in a large variety of high-tension activities. Then they don't do anything to break that high tension. Mobility drills are perfect for loosening the body and regaining that youthful movement. Removes the restriction from the high-tension activities. Your joints are also going to be healthier because we get into certain patterns of movement. The joint mobility drill is going to break those patterns of movement. We're going to get you using your joints through the full range of motion. It's really going to help your health. Now we're going to get Jeff started on the joint mobility drills. We're going to start with the neck. And the first thing we're going to do with the neck is just a simple rotation. Jeff's going to turn and look over each shoulder. And as he does so, he's going to use his eyes to look around behind him. This mobility drill just is a beginning point, helps loosen up the neck. Jeff's going to perform a couple more repetitions, then he's going to go into side bending the neck. Trying to take the ear directly to the shoulder, not rotating as he's trying to side bend. Another important drill for just basically loosening up the neck. Try to feel like there's someone lifting up on the head and laying it over so that you create space along the spine as you're doing these side bends. Next mobility drill is going to be moving the neck up and down. Jeff's going to drop his chin to his chest, close the mouth, then he's going to look up, find a point of restriction, and then open and close the mouth 2 or 3 times. This is a great drill for loosening up the neck and the jaw because the movement of your jaw is tied to the movement of your neck. Next mobility drill is going to be moving the head forward and back. This front and back motion is excellent for loosening up the muscles of the occiput and the muscles down the back of the neck and the spine. This area is very important to loosen because during our daily lives, a lot of the positions we sit in and put our head into stress the muscles along the back of the neck. Very important to loosen that area up. Next mobility drill we're going to go into is sliding the head from side to side. This is going to be an awkward drill for many of you. However, great way to loosen up the neck. If you're having trouble getting the side-to-side motion, bring your hands up beside your head and move the head side to side, touching the cheek, not the top of the head, to the hand. This side-to-side motion is really great for loosening up the vertebral column. The next mobility drill is going to be circles with the neck. And these aren't going to be the circles that you've done previously. We're going to keep the head on the same plane and slide the head around in a circle. Jeff's going to switch directions. This drill ensures that all ranges of motion of your vertebral column are covered. Great way to loosen up the neck for any activities. The next mobility drill we're going to go into is called the Egyptian. The Egyptian is a great way to loosen up the shoulders. You can see that Jeff is rotating side to side, the front hand facing up as far as possible, the back hand turning underneath and dropping the shoulder in. That little rotation of the hip is really important because that's what's going to allow you to drop that back shoulder into that fully rotated position. This is a great way to loosen up your shoulders, moving the head of the humerus around the glenoid, really loosening up that shoulder joint. The next mobility drill is going to be just simple spinal rotations. Jeff's going to start the rotation from his hip, and then as he gently spins to the side, he lets the hands come in to tap the body. This is a great way to start loosening up the body. This drill should not feel stiff and restricted. You should feel loose. It is a gentle winding and unwinding of the spine, gentle tap of the arms. This is a great way to really loosen up the spine and to break up that high tension that's developed. You should be a mobile, powerful athlete. The next mobility drill we're going to go into is side bending. Lateral flexion of the spine is a very important motion to maintain. It gives us freedom of movement and will help you protect your spine in some of those awkward positions that you can get into during strongman and power athlete training. Jeff is simply sliding the hand down the thigh, the other hand up the side, pure side bending, like he's stuck in between two panes of glass. Jeff can neither lean forward or lean back. Pure side bending. The next mobility drill is going to be bootstrappers. Bootstrappers are a great way to loosen up the hamstrings, and they're a dynamic flexibility drill. Jeff is going to place his hands out in front of him and then try to straighten the legs behind him. As Jeff loosens up and becomes more flexible, he will bring the hands in an inch, do a couple more bootstrappers, and then slide the hands in another inch, trying to get the hands as far back as possible while keeping the back in good position and trying to get the knees straight. This bootstrapper drill will change your hamstring flexibility and is a great dynamic drill for loosening up the hamstrings. The next drill is going to be the classic Hindu push-up, or modified into the wave, popularized in Pavel Satsulin's Super Joints video and Steve Maxwell's joint mobility videos. Two excellent resources that are highly recommended. The Hindu push-up is a classic drill. Jeff's going to get down in position, feet wide, hands shoulder width, fingers straight ahead. He's going to drop through into an arched position, and then he's going to push back, getting a stretch of the hamstrings, upper spine, and shoulders. Dropping through extends the spine. Great drill for loosening up the upper body, getting blood into those working shoulders, getting the hips and hamstrings, the whole body ready for movement. If you're short on time, the Hindu push-up can be a great mobility drill. I'm going to demonstrate the wave. So some of you with shoulder issues, or some of you or larger individuals that can't drop into that position of the Hindu push-up, you can just keep the arms straight and do the wave. So I'm going to get down in position, feet wide, hands out in front of me. I'm going to push back, and instead of dropping, I just keep the arms straight, drop the hips and extend, push back, stretch the hamstrings, drop through and extend. You can also throw some rotation in, reaching for the opposite foot. You can drop through and try to look behind you, scissoring the hips, coming back to center and pushing back. The wave mobility drill is a great way to take stress off the shoulders, but still get a lot of loosening up for the spine and the hips. The next mobility drill, very dynamic drill, called the Cossack. Jeff's going to go through it unweighted first. As he begins to push side to side, the feet are flat, the knees are tracking the toes. As Jeff begins to loosen up, he will let the opposite heel rotate off the ground, sitting into the working hip, keeping the knee tracking the toes. Very dynamic drill. To start to add a little bit of weight to the situation, Jeff will grab a light kettlebell and get back into the Cossack position. So as Jeff holds the kettlebell in whatever position is comfortable, he again begins to shift side to side, pushing into that working hip, extending the non-working leg. Great stretch of the adductor and hamstring. The added weight changes it. Now we're going to move into a really dynamic drill. Steve Cotter has this on his full contact series, and it is a tremendous shoulder opener and hip opener. Jeff is now transitioning to 2 kettlebells for the overhead Cossack. This is an incredible drill. He shifts into the hip flexor stretch position, back to the Cossack, shifting side to side, shifting into the hip flexor stretch. You can add a press in, continue to open up the shoulders and the hips. This is a dynamic drill. Move around, find what positions stretch you best, and then make it work for you. That's the beginning of the joint mobility series. We're going to cover one more joint mobility drill that is guaranteed to make you a better power athlete. Now we're going to introduce you to the power position face the wall squat. The standard face the wall squat has been covered in Pavel Satsulin's information and also in the full contact video series by Steve Cotter. What we're going to do is turbocharge it and change it for the power athlete. Jeff's going to get in position with a chest expander. This is a chest expander from Lifeline. The benefits of the chest expander are in this open shoulder position, far more gentle on the shoulders than a hard object like a towel. And the band helps increase the stretch on the shoulders. As the band wants to pull back together, it naturally opens up the chest and shoulders. Such an important thing to happen, especially for the power athlete who benches or has tight shoulders. Facing 6 inches away from the wall, Jeff is going to begin his squat, chest open, shoulders back, and arching the back. Nose to the wall, chest up, back arched, and then he returns to the top position. In the standard face the wall squat, Jeff would be much closer. The hands would be behind the back or at the sides. Very different mobility drill. If you notice from the side position, the extreme arch of the low back, this loaded power position. Jeff is like a coiled spring at the bottom of this drill. Back loaded, hips loaded, everything's ready for that power position. One more rep and I want you to picture a heavy squat, a heavy deadlift. I want you picturing what this position is getting you ready for, and then imagine how open the chest and shoulders are. This is a powerful mobility drill, and it will change how you operate as a power athlete. You've just seen the power position face the wall squat. Now we're going to take that power position, overhead position, and put a barbell into the mix. So this will be the power position overhead squat. Jeff's going to get in position with the barbell. You can get it overhead any way you choose. Jeff chooses to power snatch. Toes are open, hips are open. The hands are as wide as you need to have them. Make it comfortable for your shoulders. As Jeff begins the squat, notice the position of the barbell. This is not a traditional overhead Olympic squat. This is the power position overhead squat. Notice the openness of the chest, position of the shoulders. But also notice what this does to the lower back and hips. Extreme arch, braced position of the low back. Big load to the glutes and the hamstrings. This is the power position. Jeff is a loaded spring, ready to come up. We really don't want you going below parallel in this position. This is not an extreme mobility drill. This is a drill that is designed to give you the mobility in the power position. And if you go too deep, you'll lose that power position. Take a look at this video several times before attempting the barbell overhead squat. Start with an empty bar and work your way up gradually. Now we're going to segue into various pressing drills and high tension drills that are going to help you become a better power athlete. One of the drills we're going to use to demonstrate the total body tension necessary in the power athlete's training is a handshake drill. Jeff and I are going to shake hands. When we shake hands, I am going to position my hand so that my index finger is extended. This aligns the bones of my hands so that Jeff does not crush and hurt my hand in the process of performing this drill. This is a very important point, and ladies out there, this is a great way to keep guys from giving you the big hand and hurting your hand when you shake hands. So now that my hand's in position, Jeff is just going to squeeze my hand as hard as he can. And I'm going to note the pressure that's exerted. Okay? Now, what Jeff is going to do as he goes to squeeze my hand, he's going to make a white knuckle fist with the opposite hand. And at the same time, crush my hand. And there is a big increase in how much pressure is being applied to my hand. Now, we're going to take out any leakages or problems in the lower body by having Jeff pull up his kneecaps, clench his glutes, root and drive into the ground, make a white knuckle fist, and squeeze my hand. Lower body braced, hand squeezed, and a lot more pressure onto my hand. Now for the final piece of the puzzle, we're going to add in power breathing. Jeff's going to take a diaphragmatic breath, intra-abdominal pressure, and then he's going to hiss out strongly, creating additional abdominal pressure. At the same time, bracing the legs, squeezing the hand. Total body tension will be developed, and I, unfortunately, will get to feel the difference. So Jeff is going to prepare, brace, sniff in, and power breathe, and pretty much crush my hand. What you just saw in that last handshake was the application of total body tension. Every muscle group working, cheering all the others on. This is irradiation, hyper-irradiation, as described in Power to the People by Pavel. This is a drill we use at the kettlebell workshops and kettlebell certifications to teach people the increase in power that's possible simply by bringing all of your resources to bear. Bracing the lower body, using the other hand, using the power breath. Bring all your resources to bear. Power sports are not isolation sports. They're total body tension sports. Now we're going to apply the total tension techniques from the handshake drill into the bottoms up clean. Bottoms up clean is a tremendous drill for learning how to zip up the body into one solid unit, applying the total tension techniques so that you become a more powerful power athlete. Jeff's going to get in position, positioning the hand on top of the handle so that the palm strike position is on the handle. Jeff is then going to swing the kettlebell back between the legs, using the hips. Gets the kettlebell to the top, hold it for a good 2 to 3 seconds, white knuckle fist in the other hand, drop, and return. Notice that Jeff is zipped up. Everything's tight. Everything's working. And down. The bottoms up clean, excellent drill for teaching you how to bring energy from the ground to your upper body and then grab hold of it so that you can then use it. Jeff's going to move into the left hand, and what he's going to show you on the left hand is how to spot yourself in the beginning. Jeff's going to get in position, and as he performs a clean with his left hand, he will bring the right hand up to guard against the kettlebell falling in towards him. Then he'll drop, perform another repetition, guarding himself again, and then dropping the bell into the bottom position. You want to continue to guard yourself and learn how to drop the kettlebell away from you safely. You're going to miss your first few bottoms up cleans. I can pretty much guarantee you, because I know I did. So learn how to guard yourself, learn how to guide the kettlebell away from you. Be safe during your bottoms up cleans. Now we're going to take the bottoms up clean and perform it with 2 kettlebells. This will take the bottoms up clean from a unilateral loading drill to a total body loading drill. It applies all the total tension techniques. Jeff's going to get in position with 2 kettlebells. Gets his hands in the proper position, gets set for swinging the kettlebells back, pops them up into position, drop, and return. Now we're going to take the bottoms up clean and add a press to it. The bottoms up clean and press is one of the best self-correcting pressing drills that you can perform. Proper form is ensured, because unless you have total body tension, unless you're driving with a vertical forearm and pressing in the correct groove, you're going to miss the lift. So the bottoms up clean and press is an excellent drill for linking the body up into that total body tension and fixing your press. Might come in handy during a log press and the bench press. So now Jeff's going to get in position, swing the kettlebell back, perform a bottoms up clean, and then he's going to press. Notice total body tension and power breathing on the press up and while pulling the kettlebell back down to the racked position. The negative of a press is not passive. You are generating tension on the way down as well, activating the lat, loading the spring. Now Jeff's going to go ahead and perform a second rep with his right hand, just again demonstrating the total body tension necessary for the bottoms up clean and press. An excellent drill for hammering home proper pressing technique. It also allows you to use a slightly lighter weight for hammering home good technique without wearing you out during your training. Now Jeff's going to grab 2 kettlebells and we're going to go through the 2 clean and press in the bottoms up position. Jeff gets in position. I'm going to let him take it over from here. Notice the total body tension. Notice the work involved in bringing the kettlebells to the racked position in the bottoms up and then completing the press with total tension on the way up and on the way down. This is a tremendous drill for teaching you how to stay tight through your entire pressing motion. It'll increase the safety of your presses and make you a better power athlete. Now we're going to demonstrate how the bottoms up clean and press is an excellent tool for developing limit strength. The total tension necessary for a relatively heavy bottoms up clean and press is going to be perfect for developing that perfect pressing form for a heavy bench press or a heavy log press. Here goes Jeff. Awesome use of total body tension, developing a lot of strength and power in that pressing groove. Now we're going to see how the bottoms up clean and press can also be an excellent tool for developing the athleticism of a quick switch from total tension to relaxation. So necessary in many athletic events. This is going to be like a repetition log press. You're going to see Jeff go for multiple reps and get that balance between tension and relaxation. Total tension, boom, relax. And there you go. An excellent drill for learning how to be tense and then relaxed and to keep going. So important in those athletic events. Before we move into our next drill, we need to emphasize how to perform the seesaw military press. Jeff is going to clean 2 bells to the rack position, press 1 to the top, and then as he's pulling that bell back down, he'll begin to press the other bell. Both bells are in motion at the same time. This technique of total tension, of learning how to push and pull at the same time, is going to be essential in our next drill. It's also a shoulder-friendly military press that will allow you to work your overhead pressing. It's more gentle on the shoulder complex. Now we're going to move into the seesaw military press performed in a horse stance. This is an excellent drill for learning how to loosen the hips, great for reaching depth on that maximum squat. It'll improve your power position. It'll also train the spinal erectors to be solid in that position. It's going to give you great shoulder mobility. This is a tremendous drill for improving your overall athleticism. First, we're going to get Jeff squared away in the horse stance. Traditional martial arts stance, such we're not going to be focusing on tucking the tail underneath. We're going to push the hips back and load the hips. So Jeff's going to sit back into position. Note, hip is open, shin is vertical, knee is tracking his toes, chest is up, back is supported. This is a tremendous power position that Jeff's in at the moment. Your flexibility may not allow you to be in this position. You might be up here. You might be more narrow. You have to respect what your body can give you. It will improve as you practice this drill, but don't try to perform the drill incorrectly by allowing the knees to fall in to this position. If your knee is caving in and not tracking your toes, it's not a matter of if you're going to get hurt, it is a matter of when you are going to hurt your knee. Apply some discipline to holding this position, learning to open the hips, load the hips, brace the spine. This is a great drill, but not if performed incorrectly. Now we're going to get Jeff in proper position with the kettlebells, and he's going to go into the seesaw military press in the horse stance. So he cleans the bells, pushes the hips apart, sits into position, and then begins the press. Notice the shift side to side in that Jeff's hips are opening and he's sinking into position even better. Knees track toes, hips open, spinal erector strong, and break.
Good?
Awesome.
Cool.
Tremendous drill. This is a ton of work. Jeff's hurting right now because that is a rough drill. Apply discipline to this drill. Hold the horse stance position. Line up your knees with your toes. Work this drill and it will pay off for you. Now we're going to go into using the kettlebell front squat as an excellent drill for the power athlete. There's a lot of benefits to performing the front squat for a power athlete. One of the first things you're going to notice is that the rack position is a lot more comfortable than your barbell front squat. That's number one. Number two, once we fold into the true rack position, we're going to open up the upper back, release tension between the shoulder blades. We're going to learn how to round that back. Great for stone lifting. Then you're going to see how the kettlebell sitting on the chest in this rounded, racked position is going to compress the breathing, very similar to a Conan's wheel and very similar to a log press for reps. You also notice that there's going to be a difference in the back position. Jeff is not going to be in the power position. We're still loading the hips, but we're going to squat through the groin. We're going to learn how to center with the weight. Also has benefit to opening up the hips, healthy knees, great squatting. Jeff's going to get in position. We're going to clean the kettlebells to the shoulders. Big guys and ladies, you are going to stay out like this until you have the flexibility to come in. Ladies, we're not going to compress the chest. So what the guys are going to do is they're going to start to fold the hands in, interlace the fingers, lift and bring the elbows close together. Forearms are vertical, weight is sitting directly on the chest. Jeff is now going to squat by opening the hips and sitting back, centering with the weight. Notice the back is still upright. Back's in great position. He sniffs in. He's going to grunt a little coming out of the hole. He's going to turn to face you to show you the front view. Notice the rounding, the emphasized position, grunt, fire up. One more rep. Jeff's going to sniff air in as he's going down. Hit the bottom, grunt, drive up. And that's it. The kettlebell front squat compresses your breathing. opens the upper back, gives your legs a lot of power out of those deep positions. Kettlebell front squat, tremendous drill for the power athlete. Now we're going to go into a press from the front squat position, also called a SOTS press. What you're going to see is Jeff clean the bells, sink into that deep front squat position, and then perform a press with both bells. This is a tremendous drill for opening the shoulders, great for dynamic flexibility, strength of the erectors and the back complex. And then he's going to drive to the top, coming out in an overhead squat position with 2 kettlebells. Sinks in, presses the bells, drives to the overhead position. Pull them down, sniff in. Tremendous press, drive to the top. That's the 2 kettlebell SOTS press. Now, since the 2 kettlebell SOTS press can be incredibly challenging to shoulder flexibility and hip flexibility, I'm going to demonstrate the single kettlebell overhead squat to SOTS press. Great drill for learning how to open the hips, open the shoulders, and as Steve Cotter has demonstrated in his full contact series, the coiling that you can accomplish at the bottom of the SOTS press is a tremendous way to work these rotational muscles, and it's a real-world lifting position. So here we go. Perform the clean. Press it overhead. Get in position. Look at the bell. Sink to the bottom. Pull the kettlebell down. Bring it across. Drive it up. Take it to the top. Sink to the bottom. Pull it across. Drive to the top. Great way to get into the SOTS press position, to start to open up the shoulder complex. Great way to work towards the 2 kettlebell SOTS press. Now Jeff's going to perform the crush combo. He's going to take the kettlebell and crush it between his palms without using the fingers. He's going to perform a bent over row, crushing the bell. He's going to perform a curl, crushing the bell in that position. Then he's going to perform the crush catch swing as popularized by Jason Brown. This is a way to train stones without having your stones available. So Jeff gets in position, crushes the kettlebell between his palms without the fingers. Great for balancing the front chest muscles with the back. Then he moves into the curl. Simply cannot be duplicated in the gym, crushing the bell between the palms. Now he moves immediately to the swing with a palm crush catch. This is loading your stone on the platform. So for the power athlete that doesn't always have access to their stones, this is a great way to train similar movements and get the benefits. Now we're going to take you through a couple of drills. We're going to put your ballistic kettlebell drills on the move. We're going to perform the walking swing, then we're going to come back with the inline stepping swing. Some of these drills are high risk. You must be dialed away on your basic kettlebell moves, and be sure you're ready for these drills. I'm going to step back. Jeff is going to perform the regular walking swing. Gets in position for a regular swing, kicks the kettlebell back. He's going to pop it up, step, step, pop, step, step, pop, step, step, pop, step, step. This is a tremendous conditioning drill, and this is a drill that teaches you how to produce power, lose your center of gravity, regain your center of gravity, catch the resistance, produce power again, and so on. Great drill for learning how to be powerful and mobile. What Jeff's going to go to now is an outside the leg, inline stepping swing. A lot of people are performing swings outside the leg. They're not for everybody, and they are a high-risk maneuver. So be sure you're ready for this move before you take it on. With Jeff's drill, what he's going to do is get in position for a 2 kettlebell swing outside the legs. Watch those knees, keep those lats flared, make sure that kettlebell's away from your body. Now Jeff's going to get in position. He steps like he's going to perform an outside the leg swing. loads up. Pop, inline step. Pop, inline step. Notice the aggressive use of the hip flexors and loading the hips. Inline, drive, pop, drive. This is a dynamic drill that will load your hips in a big way. Load yourself. Use those hip flexors. Load the hips on this drill. This is a great drill for learning how to produce power on the move. Now we're going to perform another ballistic drill on the move. We're going to take a split clean, dropping back into the lunge position as I clean the kettlebell. And then I'm going to make a dynamic jump forward as I drop the kettlebell and propel myself forward. This is a great drill. It's like shock training. It's a lot of work. Just watch and see what happens. So I get in position. I'm going to kick the kettlebell back. Then I'm going to step back, split for my clean. Then jump forward. Coming back the other direction. Get in position, kick the kettlebell back, clean, jump forward, split, jump. From the front, done statically. You still get the shock training, not as much fun as jumping across the room, but it still accomplishes the drill. So split, jump, split, jump. Tremendous drill for shock and awe training for the body. We'd like to thank you for joining us for Kettlebells for Power Athletes. Hope you find the drills to be of benefit in your sport. I'd like to thank Jeff O'Connor for developing many of these drills and joining me today on the video. Adrenaline Bodyworks for allowing us to film here, and you for purchasing the video. Have fun with your training and let us know how it goes. Say when. Nothing? Make sure there's nothing for you to stumble over or fall on. Another important safety tip. I've never heard that before. Hello and welcome to Kettlebell. I'll be here all weekend. This front and back motion is very important. Hang on just a second. Why are you still doing up and down? Boop, boop, boop. Unappreciated in my time.
Jeff O'Connor, certified Russian kettlebell instructor and strongman competitor.
We're here today on this video.
Counterbalances and you fall forward.
Did I hit everything?
Are we going to turn and step?
Yeah, you can face this way first.
Okay.
I cover it all?
Powerful.
Bad?
Done.
What do you think?
We're here in the garage gym of Big Mike Smith, professional Scottish Games athlete. He's set 4 world records in the amateur and professional divisions, and he's known around the world as one of the best caber tossers there are. Mike, we'd like to talk to you a little bit about your training philosophy. What is it that the Russian kettlebells add to your training that you can't get from a barbell?
Well, for me, I've found that they've given me more explosion in my hips and taught me how to use my hips properly.
Is that applicable to you as a Highland Games athlete?
It is the most important aspect of our games, hip strength.
So if an athlete could only do one exercise, what do you think it should be?
I would have to recommend the swing. What I have found out is most all strength-oriented professions involve hips. If your hips are strong, you're strong. And I have been strong all my life, but I've never known how to use my hips. And the kettlebells have taught me to use them properly.
Mike, I know you've told me that in your sport, the transition between tension and relaxation is absolutely critical because you're always moving with a heavy weight. Are there any exercises you like to do to help support that specifically?
Yes, I like many kettlebell exercises, but I prefer the lateral transfer. It teaches my body to load one side and relax the other and switch the load to the other side.
And you think that's important for you as an athlete?
It's very important in throwing events. It's very important.
We're here with Sean Baker, competitive powerlifter in the 181-pound class. Sean's the owner of 4 state powerlifting records and the 2003 WPC World Powerlifting Champion. He's recently added kettlebells to his training. Sean, could you talk to us a little bit about what kettlebells bring into play that a barbell doesn't?
Just the range of motion. It kind of mimics the two-hand swing, mimics the squat and deadlift, and kind of helps with the recuperative ability of both. Adds the hip pop that you get in the top of the squat and the deadlift. It just really seems to have a lot of carryover.
Is there anything you do to help with your bench press?
I like to use the Turkish get-ups. They seem to help the range of motion for the shoulder and allow me to really get my shoulders back and shorten my stroke. Really helps the range of motion in the recovery of the shoulder. Also, had some pretty nagging shoulder injuries over the years from kind of overloading the front of the shoulder, not hitting the rear enough, and that's helped break a lot of that up.
Sean, do you feel like the kettlebells are helping with your work capacity?
Yes, I do. I'm doing several sets of 20 reps with the double hand swing, and they really seem to be helping me, especially towards the end of the workout, into the competition. I don't seem to be as winded as I had been before. It's kind of helping me with the deadlift, and that's the last lift of the competition. A lot of times if your work capacity is not up, you're dead. You can't pull what you're capable of. It really seems to be helping there.
Sean, you already do a tremendous amount of work with your powerlifting regimen. So how is it that you work in something extra with the kettlebells?
I tend to work the Turkish get-ups in on my squat and deadlift day when I already do most of my core work. Throw those in there. I do also generally do some extra workouts with the swings. I do those at my house. I have some kettlebells at home. And I'll one extra day a week usually throw some Turkish get-ups in there too. But the swings I probably do 3 to 4 days a week on the days I don't train, just as extra recovery workouts and to up the GPP.
And in your last meet, how much do you feel that this helped you?
I think it helped my squat a lot. It was a really short, quick meet. I pulled about what I expected to pull on my deadlift, but I wasn't worn out when I got to it. The meet itself didn't last. There was no recovery between the 3 lifts like there is at a general meet. But I wasn't near as winded as the other guys.
We're here with Ryan Myers. He's a professional strongman in the 105 kilo class. He is the owner of the amateur lightweight world record in the 12-inch log clean and press, and is currently preparing to break the professional record. Ryan, how long have you been training with kettlebells?
I've been training with kettlebells for about 1.5 years now.
And can you tell me what they add to your training?
I think it adds volume to my training. The sport of strongman is a very dynamic sport where there's consistently motion and exercises with stagnant and no movement and pauses. So the way that the kettlebell training is incorporated just perfectly mimics the events and the day of the contest.
Can you tell us a little bit about a couple of the exercises that you like to do?
Sure. I like to do just primarily a Turkish get-up, which is I use that as a warm-up and a recuperative exercise. It's slow and controlled and makes you tense your whole body and just gets fluid into the joints. Other than that, I think the kettlebell clean and jerk is a very beneficial exercise, especially for beginners that are doing the jerk with the log. I think it's probably one of the best ways to teach that.
Is there anything else that you do?
The swings are the staple movement, essentially, I believe, of the kettlebell training, and those are perfect for nearly every event, whether it be a deadlift or a tire flip or the stone load. So that's always a staple in my training program.
Now, you're known as the guy when it comes to pressing a log.
Sometimes.
What do you do specifically to help you in your record-setting attempts?
Well, one of the actual movements in kettlebell training is a bottoms-up clean and press. I use that quite a bit throughout my training week. And I think it's a direct correlation to the log, which is the position on your chest and the way it makes your body feel and the way you need to tense up. I'll just incorporate that several times throughout the week. I'll hit the log a couple times through the week and just make sure you learn how to do a jerk, whether it be a push or a split jerk.
You're also known to pick up some pretty heavy stones. Is there anything in particular that you do to help you with that when you're not lifting stones?
I think it goes back again to the swing and then the other movement, which is a combo crush, which teaches tension and compression, and then it mimics the movement of picking a stone up off the ground to chest level.
Yeah.